What's going on, everybody? It's Nick Kosko with On3 Sports. A very special guest with us today as we lead into the College Football Playoff National Championship. It's former Heisman winner Reggie Bush. Reggie, glad to talk to you today, my man. I know you're here with us with Modelo, recruiting the full-time fans. So before we dive into the football, let's talk a little bit about that first and what you're doing with Modelo leading up to the championship game.
Yeah, man. So I'm excited to giving fans an opportunity to take part in the national championship and going out to Atlanta, but also an opportunity to be part of Team Modelo. And we're able to select six of the most passionate fans in college football through their videos, submissions. I got a chance to look at these videos. I got a chance to score points for them. Then we selected, the six most passionate fans, and those fans will travel to Atlanta. I'm going to meet them in Atlanta, take part in the national championship game, but also get a chance to speak to them as well in what we're calling fan professionals. And we're going to talk about college football's hottest topics, maybe some of the top hot takes on the season. And it's going to be awesome.
So maybe it's not limited to Notre Dame and Ohio State fans, but if you had to pick between the two fan bases right now, who's a little bit crazier right now going into Monday?
Man, I'm gonna say Ohio State fans are probably a little crazier. Yeah, I'm say Ohio State fans are a little bit crazy. I feel like Notre Dame fans are a little bit reserved, but they could get crazy on game day.
Yeah, without a doubt. So speaking of your initial impressions of this game, of course, Ohio State playing like a lot of people thought they were going to play throughout the entire season over the course of these playoff games. Notre Dame 7 seed, winning at home, knocking off Georgia, and of course knocking off Penn State last week as well. What are your initial impressions of this game? How do these two teams match up? It seems like explosive offense from Ohio State, hard, gritty, running the football, and defense from Notre Dame, at least on the surface.
Yep, that's what it looks like to me as well. Because Notre Dame, the way they run the football has been, part of their success all season long. Just strong, physical run attack, which is very tough, for teams to stop. And then on the defense side of football, they're just getting great play, creating a lot of havoc from their defensive line in the backfield, getting pressure on the quarterback. But then Ohio State as well, it's two different mindsets on the offense, right? You have Ohio State, which has the home run threat, a home run ability from Jeremiah Smith to Trayvon Henderson to Ibuka, other receivers as well that they have. It feels like any one of those guys, they get the ball in their hands, they can go 60, 70 yards. And so you have this one side of the offense where Ohio State can throw the ball, they can pretty much hurt you in any part of the football field. And then you have this juggernaut of a run game with Notre Dame that can keep the ball away from you. They can chew up the clock on you and just make it difficult for you to get the football back in your hands, while having great defensive play. And so I think it's awesome because we're seeing two different styles of play going head to head. And, we want to see which one is going to, have the edge on the football field. In my experience, the team who runs the football the best is usually the one that ends up winning the football game. And so I kind of feel like that speaks to Notre Dame. But then again, like if Jeremiah Smith gets hot, gets open, Trayvon Henderson, we saw what he can do. One catch, he can take 60, 70 yards. That's difficult. That's difficult to stop, and it's also it's hard for a team who predominantly runs the football to catch up. If they got to play catch up in a game, that does not go well for Notre Dame, because this doesn't speak to what they do. They need to stay ahead. They need to run the football. They need to control the clock. They need to get first downs. If they're not doing that, that's going to hurt them.
So when you look at Ohio State and from a micro and a macro level, the pressure on Ryan Day, the head coach of the Buckeyes, of course, they lose to Michigan, but they've won 3 playoff games in a row. So some say the monkey's a little bit off his back right now. Some say, well, he still needs to win this football game. So from a macro level, it seems like, do you think like he needs to win this football game to eliminate that distraction? And then I guess from a micro level, you mentioned that fast start, and if Ohio State gets out 14-21 nothing, Notre Dame has to play catch up, and that favors Ohio State. How do you see it for Ryan Day going into this game?
So, I think this is a game that Ryan Day needs to win. I really do, because these last few years of losing to Michigan is just a gut punch in the stomach for Ohio State fans, and it's the game that at the end of the season, it's the game for them. Like it's the rivalry game that each team, desperately wants to win. And it's the game that they prepare for all season long. I know for a fact that Ryan Day specifically prepares for that game against Michigan starting from week one. And so, I'm sure the same thing is true for Michigan as well, right? And so this is a game that I think Ryan Day needs to win to just validate, I think a lot, for him and for his team and just where they are. And then also, when you look at, Notre Dame and just how far along they've come, I think this is just proof that the college football system, the playoff system works, right? Because in the past years, Notre Dame has not been able to get in when it was just 4 teams, and there was always that, that question of if they should join a conference or not, because, being independent kind of hurts you in that 4-team, playoff. But now we've seen Notre Dame kind of validate this true playoff system. And so again, I think going back to it, I think this is a game that Ryan Day needs to win more than Notre Dame. But we'll see what happens. And like I said, if Ohio State jumps out early and the same way they did against Oregon, I think it's going to be very tough for Notre Dame to claw back into it.
So obviously it seems like on the Notre Dame end of things, you think Marcus Freeman has done a tremendous job, and of course validating this, this 12-team playoff format.
Yeah.
What can you say about Marcus Freeman? And I know people were like, okay, he's just promoted from within. Brian Kelly says, in some words, I can't necessarily win here like I could maybe at LSU.
Yeah.
And now you've seen Marcus Freeman take this team to a different height this year. What can you say about the job he's done?
I love it. From the time he took over, it just felt like the right fit. It felt like the right coach. It felt like they got the right guy in there, the right temperament. Also, I know from just seeing that video that the players loved him, right? That first video when he was introduced and the players just jumped up and went crazy. That to me spoke volumes. And that to me said everything that I needed to know about who this man was, what kind of coach he is, how much the players love him. And how much they want to play for him. And now we're seeing from that moment, how much his impact on this team has unfolded, through winning, which is something Brian Kelly, like you said, couldn't do, for his tenure there. And we all know that Notre Dame is a national program. We all know, and the history is there. The history is proven that Notre Dame, is a big brand. And not only just football, right? Basketball as well, other sports as well. But I love just what I've seen from Marcus Freeman because he's just been as professional as you can get, from a young head coach, from a young, first time head coach. It just, and he's done it with class too. You know what I'm saying? And that Notre Dame is lucky to have him. I mean that because they have a gem in him as a coach, and they need to do everything they can to try to keep this guy because I'm already seeing stories of NFL teams, knocking, calling, and he just seems like he has the right temperament, right personality, and he's just ultra professional, and that's what you want out of a head coach, out of your leader.
Without a doubt. Reggie Bush with me here on On3 Sports, courtesy of Modelo. Reggie, I'll leave you here with this one, just kind of put the bow on for the national championship. Of course, that's why you're here today. When you look at Ohio State, Notre Dame, we mentioned all the factors. You're obviously going to be dealing it up with the fans prior to the game, probably during the game as well. Ohio State fans maybe a little bit crazier. But on the field, how do you see this breaking down on Monday night? Who's hoisting that trophy come the end of the game?
Man, I got to go with Ohio State in this because what I've seen from Trayvon Henderson, Jeremiah Smith, their receiving core, Ibuka, their quarterback, it just seems like they are primed and ready. They have everything. They got the run game, they got the pass game, they got the quarterback. They're getting great pressure on the defense in the backfield, from their defensive ends. I can't remember the kid's name, number 44 though. What's his name? The defensive end. You know what I'm talking about?
Ohio
State.
JT. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He's been balling, and he's been playing great for them on the defense side of football. And he's just been getting a lot of great pressure on the quarterback. And that's what you want to see out of your defense, And so it seems like they are playing complementary football at the right time. Everything is driving towards, them just hitting all being, all in sync and hitting all their strides and cylinders and everything. And so I feel like Ohio State is primed and ready to go win this. And Ryan Day is been waiting, for this opportunity, this moment to kind of prove Ohio State fans that he's the right guy for the job.
Ryan Day looking like he's going to be validated on Monday, according to Reggie Bush. Reggie, I appreciate you joining me today, man.
Yep.
Hopefully you have a good time with the fans out there. I know Model's a great sponsor of yours, and of course, it's a great beverage too. So I'm sure those fans are going to be excited to see you down in Atlanta.
Yes, sir. Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Reggie Bush with me right here on On3 Sports.